for me?
Well, they're not all for you. In fact, most of the presents we're wrapping up are for boys and girls that were on the news as a Friday's Child.
What's Friday's Child?
Well, you know, not every boy and girl has a nice home and a mom and dad like you. And sometimes what we call a Friday's Child is a boy or girl that is waiting for adoption.
Adoption?
Yeah, adoption. That may seem like a pretty big word, but what it means is a child is looking for a home where they can live for the rest of their lives. And a mommy and a daddy come along and they want to make that child a part of their home. And so they adopt him.
Is Santa gonna deliver all these presents?
Well, I don't think so. I think maybe I'll deliver these myself over the next couple of days. But we better hurry and get these wrapped so we have them all done in time.
Daddy forgot something.
Oh, we got one more. All right, there it goes. Thank you. 5 years of Friday's Child. Let's see, who was that first child? That's right, Henry. Then there was Lonnie, Quentin, Marcia, Louis, a lot of names, a lot of children. I guess Jackie White's letter from the Council of Adoptive Parents says it all.
Dear Don, I have finally managed to track most of the children you have featured for the Council of Adoptive Parents on Friday's Child. Of the 65 children featured from Monroe and Erie counties, 39 have been placed. As you know, these children were all from the hard-to-place category with a wide range of difficulties. We feel this 60% placement rate of such children is remarkable. In addition, you have also provided the Channel 13 viewing area with a keen sensitization for the needs of these children. We look forward to working with you again as more children become available. My best for the holidays, Jackie.
Jackie, visiting these kids is going to make my holiday. First stop, David, Chris, and Lenny. Let's see, it was back in May of 1980 that we first featured the three brothers. I heard you guys made up a song. We'll try that. Comb, comb, comb your hair all around your head. Brush, 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 send them off to bed. Let's try that again. Comb, comb, comb your hair all around your... Keep trying. I wonder how the boys are doing with their new parents. Time to find out. There they are.
He's here!
He's here.
Okay.
Good to see you. How have you been?
All right.
Oh, it's cold out there. Oh.
Life is good now for David, Chris, and Lenny. Barb and Norm White have provided the love and stability the three brothers needed. As you look at the pictures of the places this family has been over the last 4 years, you begin to forget that there was an earlier time. But there was an earlier time, and it has taken time for the boys to put it behind them.
David found it hard to understand. We were their third set of parents, and to Chris and Lenny it was easily forgotten, but to David it was, if everyone loved me, how come I keep getting moved along the line? And it took a lot, and it's hard to explain to a child who's only 6 but yet they are so old beyond their years that I realize simple explanations don't work for them, and they need to hear the whole truth sometimes, which I don't think I can take, and yet we have to share it with them. We've always been honest, and we find that it works best with them.
All three of the boys are enjoying school more than ever, and Chris and Lenny have even begun advising other youngsters who are facing adoption.
What I would say, don't be scared. I'm not scared. When I moved in, I was a little bit scared and a little bit shy, but then I got to know it real well.
The toughest adjustment for Norm and Barb has been the change from being a childless couple to being the parents of three energetic boys.
Lights, camera, action!
They just find such wonder in everything, and they make you look at the world like you never noticed it was there before. It's
true.
constant with them.
The good times, I can recall once on Thanksgiving. It was a year ago. And we all sat around the table and we had a little glass of wine as a toast. And we asked everybody to give thanks for something. And I think Chris summed it up when he says that he never felt like he belonged anyplace like he does with us, and he loves us both very much.
It's dinner time in the Wilcox household. At the table, Dad, Mom, Tanya, Artis, Ronald, also known as Carlton, Marcus, and Jerrill. Jerrill has been a part of the Wilcox family for 3 years now.
We saw him as a Friday child on TV, matter of fact, and we thought, oh, he's just the right person. Right little boy, you know. So from that moment, we went out seeking to get him, and we got him.
Everybody loves puppies, even tired ones. And while we're on the subject of love, we'd like you to meet Jerrill. Jerrill is 7 years old, shy, and very soft-spoken. He loves to explore new things and be near people. Let's pretend that Jerrill has a home all his own. What do you picture? What does it look like?
Nice home.
Remember what life was like then for Jerrill. Think about what life is now like since you're in this family. How has your life changed?
I have a nicer family. And when I was way back there, I had to keep on switching and changing to another houses. This one is real good, but the ones that I switched to, it wasn't too good.
Jerrill is not the only child the Wilcox family has opened their home to. Artis came to the family a year and a half after Jerrill. Ron Wilcox says black families have a responsibility to children like Jerrill and Artis.
And I believe when we can reach out and get these kids that need parenting and channel them and show them the right way and get that resource back in sync, then we can really do something in America. I mean, the black families in America, there's a great need for some to come forth. I mean, you know, we have everybody come out of closets. It's time for us to come out of the closet and go get these kids and show them that we love them.
Jerrill has done well in the Wilcox home. Schoolwork is improving and behavioral problems are decreasing. The Wilcoxes say Jerrill and Artis have brought just as much love into the family as they have taken from it. As for Jerrill, he says his thanks each night when he says his prayers.
And for having nice parents, nice brothers and sisters, and a real nice father that you can depend on, and a mother too.
What an impact a good family can have on a child. It'll be a long time before I forget this night. I was looking forward to seeing Danielle again. It had been 4 years since she tried to teach me the basics of roller skating. When I saw her through the window of her home, it seemed like only yesterday.
You have to practice until you get loud, and you have to stand up straight, and you have to learn to move your right.
What do I do with my feet, huh?
When you're on your left foot, you put your right foot to the side. When you're on your right foot, you put your left foot to the side and you push off like.
That's all there is to it?
Yeah.
You sure I'm not too old for this?
Yeah.
You think you can teach me, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Heading up the steps to Danielle's home, I remember that her last name was now Schmaltzbauer, and that her new parents were named Art and Carol.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi,
Good
Dan.
to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, come in.
Danielle is not the first child to which Art and Carol have opened their home. The Schmaltzbauers have done it before. Jerry, now 17, 11 foster children, and 31 fresh air children. These youngsters, along with Art and Carol's biological children, Maureen, Tommy, and Suzanne, make up one very busy family.
This family is very outgoing. They want you to do extra things, because the extra things just help you, understand the world when you get out of school. So they like you to do extra things, and they're right behind you when you want to try something. You're not sure if you can do it, you're not sure if you'll be good at it, but you want to try it, and they're standing behind you saying, you can do it, try it. And so you try it, and sometimes you find out you really can do it.
One of the Schmaltzbauer traditions Danny has taken up is singing with the Sperry Singers. Caseworker Carol Barona knew Danny would fit in with the Schmaltzbauer family after her first meeting with them.
The kids were mouthy to their parents right in front of the social worker. I knew that Danny was sometimes mouthy herself. It was a bubbly family. There was lots and lots going on. I knew that Danny was a very social creature in her other placement. And this family seemed to have the ability to give and take.
Carol Schmaltzbauer knew Danny's adoption was a success after their first disagreement.
My particular time I knew it was going to work was probably after Danielle's and my first confrontation. She had her say. She's a very vocal child, and I also am a very vocal, communicative person. And she knows me, she understands me, and I think I know her and I understand her, and we love each other because of it, in spite of it, in addition to. And that's when you know you can talk things out, when you can argue things out, and when you can still be pals, friends, and mom and child at the end.
The security Danny feels as part of the Schmaltzbauer family has made it possible for her to advise children still waiting for adoption. One of the reasons Danny's advice is taken to heart by these children is because Danny, like most of them, has failed adoption in her past.
I told them what it was like to go through a disruptive home and then come into a new home that works out. And you know it's going to stay that way, where the families, you really care about them and they care about you. So I had experience. I could say, hey, it does work out. You got to try again. Don't give up hope. And, I think that was the thing I was trying to express. Don't give up hope. Try again.
As I headed home that night, I began to look forward to the next day, when I would have the chance to pass on Danny's advice to some children still waiting for a permanent home. David, like many of the children featured on Friday's Child, has been through an emotional roller coaster ride that few of us would wish on any child. He thought the ride had come to an end last year when a single parent reached out to adopt him. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, and David found himself back at Hillside.
I was doing good. Even my social worker even told me, and it was none of my fault. He just thought it wouldn't be good for us to be together because he wasn't a good enough father, he said.
Was that tough for you?
Yeah, it was kind of tough because you had
you have had a good day in school, you're really anxious to get home, play with your friends, talk to your father, do your homework. And he just came to my school that day and just said, well, I can't be your father anymore.
David is 12 years old. He's trying to put the bad experiences behind him. One of the ways he's doing that is by staying active.
Me and my friends in Syracuse used to kind of break dance. It's a hobby that I really like, and I do it mostly every day.
How long did it take to really get the techniques of that? That could be you're in good shape for that.
Yeah, you have to have very good strength to do some of it, and you have to have good relaxation in your body.
David is looking for a two-parent home with other children in the family. The family will have to have a lot of love. You see, David's got some catching up to do.
Because my mom never gave me hugs. She says, when I was 8 years old, I went to my mom and said, hey, Mom, why don't you ever give me hugs anymore? And she said, you're too old, son, and I'm working right now, so leave.
David's caseworker, B.J. Gray, says Hillside stands ready to help David move smoothly into a new family. She thinks it's a move he can make successfully.
Deep down, David does want another family. But again, the traumas that he has suffered are so great that sometimes the emotions overwhelm him. And to work on these issues takes time. They're not impossible, but they take time. They take a lot of commitment.
Before we said goodbye to David, we asked him what his wish for the new year was. His answer didn't surprise us.
Have a new family that really cares about me, and I can stay with the rest of my life.
I was still thinking about David's last words as I arrived at my next stop in the city, standing ready to invite me in, our next Friday's child. His name is Scott, and like most youngsters awaiting adoption, Scott lives in a foster home.
Let's look at a pretty new set.
As we sat down to a game of Monopoly, I quickly realized that Scott was a bright young man. Within a few minutes, I was heading for jail, and Scott was looking for the bank. I suggested this might be a good time to talk.
You wake up in the morning and think about going to school. What do you look forward to the most about the whole day?
Coming home.
Seriously, though, Scott does like school. He gets good grades, and he's even running on the track team. When it came time to ask Scott about the type of permanent home he was looking for, the words didn't flow quite as easily. To get him to open up, we decided to play a word game. I'd start a story, and Scott would continue it.
So he thought, if I have my house in the city, I'm going to have to put some people in that house. So I would start with
Parents.
And then he thought for a moment, and he thought, I wonder if I need anyone else. If I have parents in the house, and I'm in the house, I've got this nice house in the city, should I put anybody else in it? And he said,
No.
Meanwhile, back on the Monopoly board, it looked like I was in big trouble.
7. Oh, no. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more for the hotel. What is it? More than, I got 200 and, I got 300. $367. Oh. A mere $2,000. $2,000 for the hotel? I have no more money. I do have something else I can give you.
What?
To pay my rent. And say, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
What do you think is in there?
As I headed across town, I was already looking forward to meeting our next Friday's child. Almost time to head home, but first a final visit. One more Friday's child to meet. One more package to drop off.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, I need some help.
Okay.
This is too heavy for me to...
Ah.
A little heavy?
His name is Bill. He's 12 years old, and he has a talent for making things. That's why I knew he'd like the gift we had for him.
Oh, wow. Nice stuff. Thank you.
Pottery clay. Oh, self-hardening. That means you got to work fast.
As Bill began to show me how he could turn a lump of clay into a coil pot, I asked him what he'd like to do with his time.
Math.
It can be tough sometimes, math. You ever work with calculators and things?
Yeah.
You must have to use a little math. You do some sewing and things. You get to measure, material
I
and
cook
stuff.
too.
You cook? What do you
Yeah.
cook?
Cakes, birthday cakes.
Bill has spent most of his life in foster homes and institutions. As a result, he can be tough to get along with and slow to place trust in adults. Yet, despite all this, he's ready to try it again in a permanent home.
There's what you could call
That's pretty good.
a coil pot.
What would Bill wish for if he could have just one wish? At first, he said all the money in the world. Then, he changed his mind.
This thing has nothing to do with the money. Money can't buy you love.
Love's pretty important. Huh?
Yeah.
You think of anything more important than love?
I don't know. A family. That's pretty important too.
I guess if you put those together.
Loving, caring family come out pretty good.
As I headed home, I couldn't get Bill, Scott, and David out of my mind. It seemed so unfair that they didn't have the kind of stability and love that my Jonathan and most other kids have. Yet, despite this, these kids did not feel sorry for themselves. Perhaps they have learned to expect less from life. I hope not. But then I thought of Danny, David, Chris, Lenny, and Jarrell. They had found homes, and in doing so, they had brought love and happiness to others. Somehow on this special night, I had the feeling that the same could happen for our newest Friday's children.
Did Santa come yet?
No, Santa didn't come yet. But this Santa Claus is all done. You know, all those presents you and I wrapped?
Yeah.
They've all been delivered. Good night, son.
Merry Christmas.